Hi everyone, how's everyone doing? Hope you have all been well. Today we're going to be answering some frequently asked questions. We commonly get asked about how we get our basic utilities here at the cottage. So in today's video I'm going to be reviewing how we get things such as fresh water, electricity, and some pretty darn fast high-speed internet here at our cottage. We'll start off with electricity. Obviously a very important utility. And to show you how we get our electricity to the cottage, we got to travel back in time to Anne's famous photo album. So here is the famous photo album from Anne, the woman that originally had the house built. And referencing this, you can see a guy in a backhoe digging a trench with some conduit, and this is where they're feeding the electric lines. You can then see on this page, there's the trench through the woods, which leads to this pole right here. Let's take a look at it in real life. Here is the electric meter right there on the side of the house, and you can see it's got a large conduit cable running down into the ground. So believe it or not, just like you saw in the photo album, our electric line actually runs under the driveway, under the yard, through a large portion of woods, and it connects to a neighbor's driveway, which is all the way back in that direction. Alright, so this right here is our neighbor's driveway. It's truthfully more of a road. It's very long, almost more than a quarter-mile long. And then you see right here is the power pole, and then the transformer at the top is for our house, and you see the conduit going down there into the ground, and then the line runs underneath, and somehow it snakes its way around these trees, and then you can barely even make it out, but back through those trees is our cottage in that direction. So that answers the question about the electricity, but how about running water? Well, that's a lot simpler than our electric, actually. And we just have a basic drilled well. There's obviously a lot of fresh water on the property with our brook and everything down there, but as far as a drilled well goes, it's pretty simple. We walked over here, we got the cottage right there, and then right here where this orange marker is, clear off the snow here, this is a wood cap to where our drilled well is, and the well is drilled. There's a submersible pump down there, and the pump is in the well itself, and then there's a pipe that runs this way through or underneath the ground, under the driveway, and directly into the basement. And then in the basement there's a pressure tank, and that's how we get fresh water. As far as heating and cooking and for a dryer and everything like that, we use propane. And our propane tank is actually a very large propane tank for a cottage this size, and it's a 500-gallon submersible underground tank, which is right here. This is the cap for that. The propane truck drives down the driveway and connects to that inlet right there and fills up the tank, and then there's a line once again running underground that connects to the house, and it connects to this gas inlet right here, and then that runs down into the basement, and the lines run throughout the house to supply the propane to whatever is needed. So last but not least, let's talk about internet. Now the internet is the thing that we are probably just the most blown away about, because we have lived in much more urban areas and had way worse internet. Here at our remote middle of the woods cottage, we have the fastest internet we've ever had, and it's high-speed fiber optic internet. You're probably wondering, how in the world do we get fiber optic internet in the middle of the woods? Well, we live in Vermont, and Vermont had an initiative, and still does, to give internet access to as many people in rural areas as possible. So with that being said, one of the state phone companies took the initiative to select certain towns and certain areas and create a huge fiber optic network and run fiber optic lines to all the rural homes. So luckily, our home was in one of the areas, and that's how we're able to get the best internet we've ever had in the most remote place we've ever lived. So we're all the way at the end of the driveway here. The cottage is down there deep in the woods, and what you'll see when you're walking around the streets here in Vermont, you'll think you're in the middle of nowhere, and then you'll see something like this. It's a little, this is where we get the internet from. This is for the fiber optic internet. It says buried cable. So these are just run throughout all the roads here, and what happens is that line goes from that receptacle right there, and then it's run down under the ground, down our driveway, and to our cottage. Here's where the internet enters the house. You can see the cable running from the box down into the ground and then up the driveway. So as you can see, even though our cottage is in such a remote location, we are still very much so on the grid. Down the road, like I said earlier, I think we're going to be hopefully transitioning to a little more off-grid. We're looking into solar stuff. We're looking into getting a wood-burning stove for heat. So we're looking to transition a little more off-grid, but it's nice to have the comfort and convenience of just being able to flip on a light switch and the power comes on, or high-speed internet, running water, all those luxuries. So I hope this answers some of your questions. If you do have any other questions that you're curious about, wondering about the place, feel free to comment those down below, and we'd be happy to answer them. Thank you, as always, for watching, and I'm sure we will see you next time. Until then, take care, everyone. Bye.